Schopenhauer did not hate women. He studied them. He dissected them with the cold scalpel of philosophical analysis, and what he uncovered was not hatred, but brutal clarity. To understand what a woman says is not to hear her words, but to decode the instinct buried beneath the performance. And yes, it is a performance, one rehearsed by evolution, perfected by survival, and polished by the social theater. Every man who listens too literally to a woman's words ends up confused, heartbroken, or emotionally manipulated because he assumed her mouth was the primary source of truth. It is not. Her behavior is. Her silences, her sudden withdrawals, her contradictory actions, those are her confessions. A woman says she wants a nice guy, but chooses the dangerous one. She says she wants peace, but creates chaos. She says she wants commitment, yet sabotages the one man willing to give it. Why? Because her words are not commandments from reason. They are camouflage from instinct. A woman, like any human being, is ruled by her unconscious. But unlike men, her unconscious is more socially masked, more layered in passive expression. And Schopenhauer, with no filter, no fear, and no desire for approval, ripped off that mask. He said, "Women are not what they claim to be." And in saying that, he was not demonizing them. He was warning us. He was handing men a map to navigate a territory built on contradiction. To begin, we must understand the foundation of Schopenhauer's worldview. He was a metaphysical pessimist, believing that the will, not reason, drives all of existence. The will is a blind, irrational force that propels all life forward. It doesn't think. It doesn't moralize. It only wants. And for Schopenhauer, women were not exceptions to this rule. In fact, they were its purest manifestation. Their charm, their grace, their beauty, all of it, he claimed, served one God, the will to life. Their emotions, their moods, their mysterious behavior, these were not puzzles to be solved, but instincts playing out beneath the illusion of civility. A woman does not say what she means because her words are secondary to her impulses. This isn't duplicity. It's nature. Let us explore this with brutal honesty. A woman might tell a man, "I'm not ready for a relationship," yet by next month, she's deeply involved with another. Why? Because she wasn't stating an objective truth. She was soothing a momentary discomfort. Her rejection wasn't a philosophical stance. It was a feeling passing through. And feelings, unlike logic, do not anchor themselves to consistency. Schopenhauer knew this. He believed that truth, for women, is never absolute, only convenient. Their relationship to language is not one of loyalty to precision, but of adaptive utility. Words are tools to sculpt emotion. And once that emotion changes, so does the narrative. Carl Jung, who arrived generations later, unknowingly supported much of this. He called it the anima, the feminine aspect within all of us that is fluid, shape-shifting, emotional, and irrational. In women, this anima is projected outward in dramatic fashion. Her logic dances, her certainty evaporates, her feelings rewrite the script at any given moment. Jung did not judge this. He studied it. And he, like Schopenhauer, understood that meaning in a woman is not found in literal statements. It is revealed through archetypal expression. She embodies paradox. She lives as contradiction. When a woman says, "I'm fine," she rarely means she is fine. When she says, "Do what you want," she rarely means you should. When she says, "I don't care anymore," she often means she cares more than ever, but doesn't feel safe expressing it. This is the realm of subtext, not surface. And the man who refuses to interpret this language of inversion, of opposites, will be emotionally destroyed. Not because she intends to deceive, but because her communication is not engineered for clarity. It is engineered for emotional control. Women survive through indirectness. This is not an insult. It is evolutionary design. When physical strength is not your advantage, strategic ambiguity becomes your weapon. Ambiguity keeps options open. Ambiguity disarms conflict. Ambiguity allows for reversal. This is why women have mastered the art of saying something without saying it. Why they hint instead of demand. Why they cry instead of confront. Why they smile when they're angry and go silent when they're in pain. It's not passive aggression, it's survival. Schopenhauer recognized this centuries ago. He called women the weaker sex, not because of moral judgment, but because of biological reality. And with that weakness came adaptation. He saw their emotional volatility, their manipulative tendencies, their hypergamy, not as flaws, but as functions. Each trait served a purpose in the primal game of life. And that purpose was not truth. It was utility. The average man still doesn't grasp this. He still believes a woman's love is like his, direct, durable, logical. It is not. Hers is intuitive, responsive, contingent. It is shaped by perception and context, not principle. Let S take a classic example. The woman who says she values honesty but reacts violently to truth. You tell her the truth about your past. You tell her what you don't like. You show her your real emotions. And she withdraws, gets offended, or labels you emotionally unavailable. Why? Because her stated values are not always aligned with her emotional needs. Honesty, to her, is not a moral duty. It is a feeling she enjoys when it benefits her. Once it threatens her comfort or her illusion of control, honesty becomes a threat. This is the fluidity Schopenhauer pointed to, the contradiction between word and will. Now observe how this contradiction infiltrates love itself. A woman may beg for attention, only to reject the man who gives her too much of it. She may claim to want independence, only to sabotage it when she feels unseen. She says she wants a stable man, but mocks him for being predictable. This duality is not deception in the male sense. It is internal fragmentation. She often does not know what she truly wants, because what she wants keeps changing with her emotional landscape. And men, expecting linear logic, are shattered by this tidal movement of feminine nature. They look for fixed coordinates in a shifting storm. Men suffer most when they expect coherence from chaos. The modern man, especially, is trained to take women seriously at their word. He believes in surface communication, direct statements, rational negotiations. He forgets that language is only the servant of deeper drives. And if those drives are insecure, hormonal, or archetypal, then words become masks. They become misleading signals dressed in socially acceptable language. She says, "I'm not like other women," but behaves exactly like them. She says, "I don't play games," then engages in emotional chess. This gap between word and action is not the exception. It is the rule. Jung warned that a woman without self-awareness projects her inner chaos onto the man she loves. She may accuse him of being cold when she herself is withholding. She may call him toxic when he refuses to play savior. This projection is not deliberate cruelty. It is unconscious displacement. When she cannot regulate her inner world, she externalizes it onto the masculine. And men, unaware of this process, accept the accusations as truth. They become emotionally enmeshed in a narrative that is not theirs. Schopenhauer would say, "Do not react, observe. Do not believe, decode. Do not assume she means what she says. Assume she means what she feels, and even that is subject to change." Now we must ask, how do you protect yourself from the chaos of contradictory femininity without becoming cynical? The answer lies not in rejecting the feminine, but in understanding it. Schopenhauer did not advise hatred, he advised realism. He urged men to awaken from the sentimental delusion that women love the way men do. They do not. A woman's love is emotional, not principled. Her loyalty is to her emotional state, not to your identity. When that state changes, so will her affection. This is not betrayal, it is instinct. And the man who understands this becomes immune to her mood swings, immune to her inconsistencies, immune to her changing stories. This immunity is not cruelty, it is strength. It is the calm detachment of the philosopher who sees the ocean wave crash, but does not blame the wave for being wet. He does not yell at the tide for rising. He simply builds his house above the floodline. Likewise, the masculine man must not attempt to fix a woman's contradiction. He must rise above it. He must root himself in purpose, clarity, and boundaries. He must love without being conquered, give without being drained, lead without being manipulated. And to do this, he must never forget, her words are not laws, they are weather, and weather changes.